So here it is, guys. This is the final product. It's my favorite room in the house, and I pulled a lot of inspiration from prior bathrooms that we've done. So one of the reasons I bought this house is what I'm standing on. I actually redid this entire driveway in 2020. One of the things that kind of catches my eye is this planter right in the middle. And I think we have a lot of potential here with this to do some really cool things. There's a lot of overgrown vegetation all around the property. And I think what it's doing, it's taken away from the house. So we're going to add a lot of sod back in here. We're going to add a lot of sod in front of the home. We're going to add a lot of sod back in this planter in the middle of this driveway. Clean this up really nice. Maybe add some newer, more colorful plants back in. And I think those little things will make a huge difference. But we have a great starting point because we have a brand new driveway. So we actually have a koi pond that I found a permit for that there may or may not be a legal dispute. And I don't think the lady who commissioned the work paid the gentleman who did the job. And then she passed away. Now, we're not worried about this because that all happened prior to my ownership. And we're actually going to be taking all this out anyways, okay? For a number of reasons. Well, let's go over them. In my opinion, I don't think buyers want this in the front of their home. Also, I don't think it was done very good. It looks like the lady who passed away might have had a valid argument. Okay, guys, so I'm standing on the garage side of the house, and there's a door back here. And some of this home has been updated in the last, I'd say, decade to accommodate the prior owner. But regardless, she needed care. She had a live-in nurse, and the live-in nurse had her own private entryway into the home. Everything we do on the outside and the inside, we're making an educated guess. And to our best guess, we're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this. So that's the current plan. With all that said, let's walk in the front of the home, and we have a lot to talk about. You ready for this? Because this is the craziest layout I've ever seen. We're here. Look how awesome this home is. Look at that. You can see nothing. So this is gonna, I am gonna do my best to paint the picture of what we're gonna do here. It's not gonna be easy, but I'm gonna try my best to show you guys how we're gonna alter this floor plan and make it cohesive, okay? Because right now this floor plan is crazy. So why don't we start over here? So over here is the primary bathroom, primary bedroom, and everything that goes along with that. We're inside the primary bedroom, and one of the issues that we have in this particular part of the house is a lack of space in here. I was here yesterday kind of measuring things out. We have 15 feet this way, and we have 14 feet this way. And that is not big enough. It's not big enough for a couple of reasons. Number one, there's other bedrooms in this house that are bigger. And number two, it's below average for the square footage, right? So we're over 3,000, a little over 3,000 square feet on this house. We have an idea to blow this wall out right here. And so just for a moment, I'm going to take you to the other side. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring this wall out to about where my foot is, right here, which is about 3 feet this way. Now, that creates another problem. And if you flip the camera around, you'll see there's a big old door right here, okay? And you can't put a wall in the middle of a sliding patio door. So what we have to do is we have to wall this in and create a smaller opening here. I don't want to get rid of this opening altogether. So I just walked through this hallway. On both sides of this hallway are two closets. We have decent amount of closet space in here. There's a his and hers closet, and I think they work as is. There's a water closet with saloon doors right here that we're definitely going to put an actual door in here, not doors, but an actual door into this room. And we have the space and the framing already in place to do it. So this is an easy fix. With that said, if we come in here, this is where we're blowing everything up. And we haven't exactly had a chance to take a peek, behind any walls or anything just yet. But one of our biggest concerns are these 6.5, 7 foot ceilings right here. The house has 8 foot ceilings, but in here they have 7 foot ceilings. And not only that, but they're just weird. It's like they're 12 foot here, then they're 7 foot here. And I'm just not understanding how this ended up the way it did. And we don't care why, as long as we can take them out. Now, I was in here yesterday with my floor plan software, just playing around, trying to figure out where to put the tub, because that'll help me decide how to do everything else in the bathroom. I know it's a weird way to work on how to arrange your plumbing fixtures and your features, but for this bathroom, where the tub goes is the starting point. And what I settled on is right here. I measured it out. Most of our tubs are 55, 58 inches wide, and that fits perfectly right in front of this wall. And then after that, it's just a matter of opening all of this up. We're going to put a single panel of glass right here, and you'll walk in this way. Now, on the other side, we have a lot of space here for sinks and linen closets and whatnot. Okay, let's head back to the craziest bedroom situation I have ever seen. Okay, guys, so we're going to get to the kitchen last. There's so much to talk about with the kitchen, but I want to first kind of talk about the bedrooms. So we're standing, this is the hallway. This is how you get to all the bedrooms. So why don't we walk through here and let me show you what's going on. There's a pool bath right here, little linen closet right here. We like this setup. We like everything about it. We're just going to update it. As you walk in here, we have a pretty standard bedroom. Again, nothing crazy just yet. This is where things get crazy. So I'm standing in a bedroom right now, and there's a door just as we walked in. There's a door right here, and then there's a door into a bathroom right here. This is like a Jack and Jill situation. And because this also leads to a bedroom. There's another bedroom here. Currently, this home has 6 bedrooms, okay? So there was one that we just walked in by the pool bath. Then there was the one that we just walked in the other side of this bathroom. Now we're in a 3rd bedroom. We just came from the primary bedroom. That's 4, okay? Let's turn around. Well, we don't even have to turn around. We have another door here. Okay, and now we're on the other side of that weird hallway bedroom. okay? And we got two more, this way and this way. Let's go this way. And so now we're in bedroom 5 currently, and this is a really nice bedroom. This bedroom is bigger dimensionally than the primary bedroom. And so this was my kind of inspiration for blowing that wall out, because we don't want the primary bedroom and bathroom area of the house to be usurped by some random bedroom in the back of the home. And now we're in bedroom 6. And this is the bedroom that I felt the live-in situation kind of took place. We're, again, not sure what to do with this door. The plan is to remove it. There's still a couple things up in the air floor plan wise, but there's not anything in question about what to do with all these bedrooms. Okay, so we're going to make this a 4-bedroom plus office. And for this square footage, for this area, for this market, that puts us at the top of the list. That puts us in line with the highest comps. To my knowledge and my research, nothing at this square footage had 5 bedrooms that sold in the last 2 years. So why do we need 5 bedrooms, right? Let's use that space for something else. So let's talk about how that's all going to work. So this is the problem, guys, is there's no way back. Okay, let me shut this door. I can't get back into the rest of the house from here. I'm stuck. Okay, if somebody's in this bathroom right now, shut this door. Okay, somebody's having a bad day and they're in there for a while, and somebody's in here and they don't want to be disturbed, and I just woke up from a nap, I'm stuck. I can't get back into the rest of the house from here. Okay, that's a huge problem. So how do we solve that? We got to remove a bedroom, and we got to remove it here. So this is going to go, this door is going to go. We are going to wall off this space in here, and this is just going to be a hallway. Okay, we're going to create a huge hallway right here by removing both of these doors. What we've done is remove a bedroom at that point. We're probably going to get rid of this closet as well and add it on to the closet on the other side. Now we're standing in what's going to be the office. So we're actually back about 3 days later. Unfortunately, my microphone died and we lost 15 to 20 minutes of raw footage. I was kind of struggling in the last video to try to communicate where things were going to go and how things were going to be with the kitchen. So I think actually we'll have an easier time doing that now. So we decided just to pick it up. So anyway, so let's go in and talk about what we're going to do with this Jack and Jill and Wendy situation here. So it's really kind of a weird situation. It's actually 2 bathrooms. It's like 2 half bathrooms together, and they have like a toilet here and a shower tub combo, and then on this side there's just a giant sink. But there's doors. There's 3 doors. So what we're considering at this point is creating 2 different rooms. So we would actually kind of just close this off right here, and this would be a half bath as it almost currently is right now. And then delete this door right here, because this is actually going to go into where our new laundry will be. Right now there's just a bedroom on the other side, and put a vanity in here, somewhere in here. We don't exactly know. So you'll enter through this pocket door right here. The door stays. We're not going to move any of that. Then we're just going to redo it. New tub, new tile floors, new everything. So let's talk about the kitchen. Obviously now you can see the home is a little bit different looking than it was at the first part of this tour. And that's because we've already started tearing it apart. One of the maybe weird aspects of this home is, even though it's over 3,000 square feet, I kind of felt like the living room walls and the kitchen area is kind of tight. So instead of reincorporating this back into the garage, because the garage is on the other side of this wall, I wanted this area here to be the back wall of the kitchen. We just want to run it all the way. Now, with that said, this is going to be the back wall of our kitchen right here. So this wall and this wall are going to form the L back area of our kitchen. And this current laundry is going to go back in this room right here. This obviously was our fourth bedroom back here, or fifth bedroom back here on this side. We're gonna actually borrow from this room because this room is way too big right now to be a laundry. So to do that, we're gonna relocate this wall maybe a couple feet this way as far as we can go, and we're gonna cancel that door, and this is gonna be a nice giant laundry space. Now we do have one little cool thing. You might be asking why are we moving the laundry space and removing a bedroom? And the reason for that is because we want to create a nice butler's pantry behind the kitchen. We have the perfect opportunity to do that where this laundry space currently is. Not only that, but we also have all of the plumbing we need in here already to hook up a little prep sink. Lastly, we need a big old island somewhere, right? So here it is, just right in here, right in the middle of this room. And part of the challenge for this island is we want to make it as big as we can. We don't want some rinky-dink little 4 foot wide by 3 foot island. So to do that, we were forced to move this wall back. So not only do we get a bigger living room space, more open, but we also get a much larger island. Now the only issue is that because our cabinets are going to come to here, we need about 3 feet or 4 feet of space before we hit the front of our island. And then another 5 or 6 feet is I don't want the island to come too far this way because I still want to have at least 15 feet before you hit your TV wall. Because you're going to want to put a couch in here. You're going to want to have a TV. You're going to want to have space for people to walk through. And if you have your island sitting all the way here, all you really do is you just have a big kitchen, and your living room is so tiny. So let's just real quick finish the tour. One of the best features of this home is it's on the golf course, and I'm a big golfer. I love it. I live on a golf course. I could golf every day if you let me. But let's talk about what we're going to do right here. Okay. We got to recondition all of these pavers. I love it when we get a property to flip and the pavers are perfect. At that point, we're in survival mode. They were over sanded. The sand is actually coming well above where it should. So they kind of look ugly, but I feel like they have a nice color. And if can power blast and re-sand and seal this area, it will look incredible. After that, the pool is really, really going to stay as is. But we have one really cool thing that we're going to do back here that I personally feel is going to add a ton of appeal to this home and a ton of value. And that's in this little closet space. Now, whoever built this closet area, you can tell it was kind of framed in after the fact, but it has plumbing right in this corner. And anytime I find plumbing somewhere that's not being used, we try to find a use for it. So we're going to do a nice little outdoor kitchen, little sink area, a little place for your grill, little bar area, hang out back here. We're going to tile it up real nice. We're going to throw some nice outdoor cabinets in there, some stone, and we're going to open all this up here. So, and I think if we get this right and we do this right, it's going to add a ton of value and entertainment potential to this pool area. There is one other thing I want to show you. So let's head out to the back of the property. It is so big back here, and it's so open. Let's see if we can get a shot of this, because this is one of my favorite parts about being back here is you can kind of just look straight down the rest of the homes, and there's just nothing there. We have this like giant dead area of nothing right here that I feel would be perfect to have one of my paver guys come in, and we'll build a pergola sitting area right back here. I just feel like the potential value that that could add to the property for really minimal investment. And that could be the feature that gets us our full price offer, which, we're looking at just under $1 million resale on this at a 650 purchase price. We're standing in the middle of a wall. We have all of our final walls up and we have our entire layout. I probably spent the most time ever in my floor plan app on this house. And I'm going to take you guys around. I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you all the crazy things that we ran into to get to this point. So obviously the wall is gone, right? And now you can see the entire house. And it might have been hard to communicate in the first video because the kitchen used to actually be right here, more in the middle of the house. But what moving it did is it opened up this entire middle of the home to create a formal living and a more traditional dining here. So if you guys remember, we had about a 6-foot glass slider right here that we converted to just a big window. I hate taking away doors or egress to your outside, but I thought that this actually looks so natural, I don't even notice it anymore. That was the price we had to pay to extend this wall out. So why don't we come inside? Now we're standing in the primary bedroom, and before we had a 16 by 14, and now we have a 16 by 16. So we added a ton of usable space inside this room without almost any sacrifice to the rest of the house. So this is the biggest change that you guys are about to see. So this is something that was really stressful for a moment, but we were able to create that huge vaulted look in here. And this is my personal favorite room in the house. It's so hard to describe what this did for this room, but getting rid of these soffit boxes that they built in each corner, it opened this up so much, and it's going to create so much value for us, guys. One of the things I want to talk about is our initial design. We had to really figure out a compromise here. So we have a structural beam right here, okay? And that's why it looks a little awkward right here. Um, this is only 7 feet, and there's nothing we can do with it because it runs the entire span. And our original idea was to put the shower right here. And that's just not going to work. It had to be flipped. So initially, our tub was going to go here, shower. Our solution to that problem was to flip it around. So we're going to put the tub under here, and this beam actually ends right here. We closed it in the whole way because we're going to put a little recessed light right here. Now we have so many cool things we're going to do in here lighting wise, so many cool things we're going to do with our cabinetry and our sinks and everything. So I wanted to come back now to the middle of the house and kind of talk about our situation here with our size, okay? And I alluded to it in the part one where, and I apologize for the lack of the light here. We have very limited light right now, so apologize if it's dark. But so as we alluded to, we had kind of a problem with depth, and this is your main area congregation. I need at least 15 to 16 feet from the end of your island to your TV in terms of depth in the room, space to walk between your couch and your island, and then also not be sitting like literally here in front of your TV. We were able to get the 16 feet. We brought this out about 6 inches so we could do our framing, and obviously you can kind of tell the way this is going to look. We settled on this design as our focal point in the house. Let's talk about this space right here. Now, probably noticing, all right, we actually did keep some wall or add some wall now, as you walk in the front door. I'm not a fan of fully open concepts, all right? There's open concept and then there's open concept. And I don't want the home to feel like a warehouse when you're walking in. So what we decided to do is we knew we had a little space here to add some further cabinetry or mini bar or something additional to the kitchen because I wanted to create balance. I wanted to create cabinetry on both sides of the island, okay? And when I was doing my kitchen design, I was up at night and I was just looking at it. I didn't like how everything was over here and nothing was on this side. So I threw some cabinets here on the floor plan, and it just worked. So we kept it and we built it. So we're going to throw our fridge back here, okay? Then we're going to run cabinets just to the right of it. Now, remember, this is where the old laundry space used to be. This is our door now. I'm going to let you go in here and just film around. But this is our door to our pantry. And so our walk-in pantry. We have a lot of cool ideas that are going to go in there as we continue to build out this kitchen. But what's going to go here in this corner is our double oven. And one thing I like to do is separate the cooktop from the oven. So instead of, and we very easily could have just thrown a traditional oven right here and called it a day, but we're shooting for as much value as we can. And if we're this deep into a kitchen remodel, let's do it right. So we're going to put traditional double oven right here. And then our symmetry for our kitchen, it really kind of starts right here where you see this line. All right, so I want to show you guys the laundry space. I'm going to come in here, just find myself a spot to stand and kind of talk about what we're going to do in here. So we have kind of a sample of what our floor tile is going to look like. We have 6,000 pounds of tile. It's the most tile I've ever done, and it's the most different types of tile that I've ever done in a house. I really wanted to create the biggest laundry space possible, and I have always kind of done the laundry as like made it nice, cleaned it up, painted it, new tile floors, thrown a wall cabinet up and a sink, and called it a day. But we actually really wanted to do a deep dive on this one. What we did is we basically eliminated a bedroom because that's what used to be in this space was like a sixth bedroom or whatever number bedroom it ended up being, wherever you start counting, and that's really what this space used to be. So having that as our starting point, we had to go all out because you don't always get a space this big. So here is our laundry. Now, what we're going to do is come back to the other half of the house. So we have our pool bath here. I'll let you take a peek inside here. There's almost nothing fundamentally different about this space, except it's just all new. I want to take you guys now into this bedroom. So this is the first room that really the changes started. This room only had one closet right here, and it's not a very big bedroom. So we only have one closet. What I thought about doing is let's add a second closet right here. Sometimes if you lack like physical square footage in a bedroom, storage space can sometimes make up for that. Let's walk through here. So now we're back in what used to be a bedroom, okay? This wall we added. There used to be a door there, and then there used to be a door right here. None of that is there anymore. And I'm going to walk in this office. So this is our office, right? We have 4 full bedrooms, and we have this as an office. We have 10 feet by 8 feet. And we have, what we wanted to do is we wanted to create the biggest opening we could to this office because I really didn't want this hallway space to feel closed down. I still wanted this because this is going to be the biggest part of the home that everybody's walking through every day that lives here. And so I still wanted, I didn't want people bumping elbows coming through this hallway, but I still wanted an office. We had to have our own office. And so we threw it in here. And this obviously was another bedroom conversion. So we converted one bedroom to a laundry, and that allowed us to create our walk-in pantry. And then we got rid of one other bedroom and made it an office. So before we had this huge 15 by 5-foot double half bath weird situation that I don't even know how that got to be that way, but we inherited it, and those are good problems because if you solve them, you make money. I'm gonna let you go in here. I know our light is not the best, but what we ended up doing is just making it a traditional tub bathroom. Okay, and to do that, I think it was right about here. We ended up just putting a wall here. We're gonna put our sink vanity up against this wall this way. You have a toilet and a tub, and we have a ton of space in there for it to function as a perfectly sized tub bathroom. Now, by doing that, we also obviously canceled this back door here. By doing that, it left us with a 5 by 5 room right here with its own door. So we decided to keep it a half bath. There was already a sink on this side, and we decided to just keep it as a half bath. And that way, the people in these two back bedrooms have their own little bathroom. Now, did we absolutely have to do that? No. They could have used the tub bath, or there's a pool bath straight ahead. So technically, this little hallway area has 3 bath or 2.5 bathrooms, but I really didn't see how that would also hurt us. So now that we've made it back here, there's really only 2 bedrooms to show you. And what we ended up doing is we ended up deciding to get rid of this door, for better or worse. We don't know. We ended up getting rid of it. It creates more wall space in here, and we still have this cool little nook back here to act as like its own little like office addition to the room. And it's still a good sized bedroom. So the weather's not the best, but I just want to take you guys. There's really nothing to show you in the front other than we found about 5 sprinkler zones and they're all working perfectly. We're going to start our landscaping process in the front shortly, and we have a perfectly working irrigation system to keep it alive. So that's always a plus. But back here, we've actually started some cool work. So we've started the very beginnings of our pergola, and what this does back here, and seeing it for the first time, this is my first time here seeing that they just built it yesterday. It's it's in the perfect spot. This house was a labor of love, and we took a lot of risks on this thing. We used a lot of different materials and tiles and finishes that we have never used before. I always felt like I was 1 or 2 tiles away from having a pretty good idea of what to do on a property and how to design a space. And I had my go-to tiles that I like. I don't know what kind of feedback I'm gonna get on these properties until we hit the market and until buyers see it. And so there's always like a lull where we design it as best we can. I use my best judgment as the lead designer and final say on all these things, and I just try to create something cohesive and something that is as good as I can do. And then it's up to the market. It's up to the buyers. It's up to the people who are going to purchase the house and drop that kind of money on this place to give me their feedback. And every single person that saw this house was blown away. And I expected to get good feedback. We put a lot of money in, and I have the ability to kind of judge things in a certain way, but I didn't expect it to be this overwhelming. I had people just talking my ear off about it, and you guys, you'll know when something's genuine in your feedback, and you'll know when it's not. So we are on the way, and we'll be there in just a few minutes. This is a big reveal day, and we haven't sold the house yet, but we are in 36 hours. I will be counting down every single hour. I might not be sleeping. Maybe I do. Either way, it's approaching. So it's time to show you guys the final product. This house, again, it marked kind of a new direction for us in terms of our design and all of our tile picks and finishes like that. So there's a lot to go over. I don't want to waste too much time just standing out here, but I wanted to start the video in the same place that we started on day one, because we did a lot of things outside, and I want to kind of talk to you a little bit about it, because curb appeal is extremely important. Now, we inherited this driveway. This was poured about 5 years ago. We already had this going for us, and we knew that when we purchased the house that this was going to be a selling point. So our goal was to help it so that it works even better and it stands out even more. And so that meant with this planter in the middle, we really went into this thing and cleaned it up as best we could. We put all new grass in the front, guys. And I normally don't resod, but in a house like this, at the price point we're trying to get to of $1 million, I think you got to spend a little money and put some sod. So we did. And one of the benefits we had of that, you always want to do this before you spend thousands on sod, is you need irrigation. If you don't have irrigation, it will survive, but then it will die by the time the buyer's final walkthrough comes around. And now you've advertised the house with nice new sod when they saw it, and it's all dead when they're about to buy it. And so you're going to have to spend a lot of money now fixing that problem. You don't want to get into that. So please make sure you have a solution for your irrigation. You can whip up some homemade stuff, but you have to keep it water. That is just something I'm putting forth from experience. So let's talk about what we did out here. The first thing is because we got rid of that door back there, we had to come up with a solution because we can try to match the stucco pattern on the outside of the house, but that can be very hard sometimes. And if you don't do it just right, people are going to see a big square where the door used to be, and it's going to be unsightly. It's made a great opportunity to put some hardy plank siding, which I really like to do. And so that's what we ended up doing. Aside from that, we mulched and planted, and that's really, it didn't need much more than that, guys. A nice new paint job outside, mulch and plants, that goes a long way to helping your curb appeal. In fact, that's just about 90% of it right there. Along with that, we did carry the hardy plank in these art in the architectural details around these windows. And that is honestly, guys, my favorite part of the outside of this house. And I just love how it's all painted white. I feel like it just really ties everything in together. So one last thing to show you all out here, and I'm sure you already noticed it, but this little bathtub fly trap or pond little thing that they had put in here, we ripped that out. I'm so happy we did. It's actually a really cool spot to maybe add on to your porch right here. So we gave the buyers an option to do whatever they need now at this point because we filled this in and took this out. This is the final product. The big reveal is here. Now, I know from the prior content that you guys have seen, you've obviously seen all the walls that we've altered, but this is it polished up. And I don't care how many times you walk in these places until it's professionally cleaned and we've got all our little details in place. It never really stuns me, but that next day it's cleaned, I am blown away. I just love coming in here. We nailed the design, and guys, it was hard. It was really hard because we kind of shoot from the hip and ask questions later on our designs. And sometimes we end up with something that's completely off and we have to go back and we got to change it all up in the end. So one of those things was we had the wrong color wood everywhere, shelving, mantles, everything. We had to swap all of that out. And there were just a lot of little things at the very end that we changed, including changing an entire floor tile in one of our bathrooms that I could not get over. It was just too ugly, and I felt like it was so ugly it took away from the way the house was showing. So we'll talk about that here in a minute, but let's just go straight in the kitchen. Let's go right in here. And obviously from the beginning, the kitchen used to be over there in that room, and we moved it over here in this room where it should be. And I know we've kind of talked about all this already, guys, but one thing that I love doing is I love throwing in the off-color cabinets and kind of doing the two-tone with the cabinets. I feel like that adds a lot of character to your kitchen. So guys, this space is really something that's extremely important to me. I personally feel that that space right there is what helped us sell our home for the price that we did. We got a lot of compliments on this butler's pantry or scullery or walk-in pantry, whatever your definition for it is. We got a lot of compliments on it and people really liked it. This room helps you accomplish the modern needs of what a kitchen is. And over time, kitchens, they take on bigger and bigger roles. Eventually, we're going to be sleeping in them, but currently, that is what people expect, especially at this price point, just under $1 million. I really spent a lot of time on what to put back here because, again, we have wood color cabinets contrasting it back here. So now we have 3 different colors that you're looking at. So it kind of threw me for a puzzle a little bit. But anyways, it turned out really nicely, guys, and I'm really happy with how this kitchen turned out. So let's go into the laundry for just a moment. So one thing I have said is I struggle with designing a laundry space, and this is always one of my favorite spaces to design, and I just don't ever feel like I've nailed it. I've said that a million times. I still don't feel that way. Sadly, in this particular case, I feel like I ordered the wrong tile in here, and we went crazy with the tile in here. I just wanted to put it everywhere. But unfortunately, it's such a bold tile, and I kind of got in this like this. I started to over design. Had we just done a neutral tile in here and let the floor tiles and the wood cabinets kind of play off everything, I think that would have helped it. Now, with that said, the buyers loved it, and we got so many compliments on this room. So I'm only speaking from me. I'm just kind of going like station by station around here and just showing you, obviously, the final product, but all the little issues that we encountered along the way. And this is one right here. So in this area, it kind of looks like maybe something else should have gone here. And that was the intention. So the intention was to do a secondary kind of either dry bar or storage area or something over here. And what we realized is we were over designing the floor plan at that point. So we canceled it. The problem was we had already done all our framing and we had already put this in here, that there was no way to just completely cancel it. So we had to kind of go with it. We ended up doing in here, and you guys will see this now, is we went with the lighted mirrors, the irregular shaped lighted mirrors, and we did the tile backsplash all the way to the ceiling. This is something that I've started incorporating in a lot of my projects, and we've gotten a lot of good feedback on this, so that's why we keep doing it. But what it does is I love how the lighted mirror kind of plays off the texture. We do a really textured tile back here. Now, in this bathroom, we had an opportunity to reuse the glass. Okay. And what you're looking at right here is probably $1,500 to $2,000. Before we head out to the pool area, let's go back into this maze area, right? So I call this house the maze. And part of that was because of that conundrum of crazy bedrooms right here. So let's go in this part of the house and show you guys how it turned out. All right, so I am at the heart of the maze. All right, we're not at the end. We haven't got the carrot or whatever it is, but I'm in the middle of it right now. So this area kind of gave us a little bit of what do we do? Um, Now, I did have the original idea to make this a laundry, and the reason I didn't do that was because the laundry was already off the kitchen. Technically, it's not off the kitchen right now, but there was no perfect place to put the laundry in this house, and that was kind of an issue we struggled with. But and before I listed this house, guys, I was really nervous. I was nervous. I was looking at my floor plan after we were done, but before we listed, and second guessing everything. Did I put the laundry in the right spot? Should I have put the primary back here? Should I have made this a bathroom? I kind of spiraled out there, guys, for a minute. But you gotta trust. You gotta trust what you did, and you just gotta go with it. I know that you guys already know we created another half bath here, okay? However, I want to show you the final product in here because this was the bathroom that we removed the floors in. I had these green hexagon tiles all down on these floors right here, and I kept walking in here and I would pass by this room and I'd look down and I'd be like, I screwed up. And so we had to make the painful decision of ripping them up and putting a more neutral tile down here. All right, I like it as much or equal. So I just love how everything flows together. Well, let's head back to these two bedrooms and then we'll check out the primary because that is really the big reveal, guys. One complaint that we actually got in this house was buyers didn't like the fact, and we didn't know what to expect out of this because it's the first time we've encountered this. Buyers didn't like the fact that there was doors to the outside, and they all have kids. You're not really purchasing a house like this if you don't have kids, or at least that would cover the majority of our buyers. So having a way to get to the outside for your little kids was not a good thing in this area. And so we did make the right decision to take out this door. All right, so this is what I'm talking about, guys. This is the other bedroom in the back of the maze here. And obviously, you can just open this door if it's not locked and just go right out. Now, there's a easy solution to that problem, and most people understood that you can buy locks that lock from the outside only, and that way your kid can't open these. Now we're going to walk to the other side of the house. By moving the kitchen, we actually ended up creating a secondary living space, and that was almost unintentional. It was to quote Bob Ross here, a happy accident. Okay, and so we struggled now because now we have another space. How do we define it, and how do we define it without staging? So obviously we could have just put a sofa in here and some chairs and a rug. Everybody would have understood. But again, we're not staging, so we need another way to communicate what is this room. So we came up with the idea, hey, let's put a secondary fireplace in here. We put electrical on top, and then we put a mantle on top. We enlarged this room 2.5 feet. All right. It used to stop right about here where my foot is. Okay. And then just went straight back. Even by doing that, one of the biggest criticisms that we got on this house was the primary bedroom was too small. So even though we knew of what possible criticism could come from touring the house before we started, we still got the criticism. Otherwise, there's nothing really remarkable to talk to y'all about in here. So here it is, guys. This is the final product. It's my favorite room in the house, and I pulled a lot of inspiration from prior bathrooms that we've done. So I have a little bit of staging that we've done here. We put a little rug down here. Every time I came back to the house, guys, after I'd had a bunch of showings and just to make sure everything was kosher in here, there was always like a I could see where people had been turning on the shower. It was just funny to me. Yes, of course, the water, it does not splash as far as you think, and it drains into the drain, and it does not make its way out. But I just thought it was funny that buyers had to see that for themselves. So aside from all that, really the only other things to really talk to you guys about in here was, again, we have our textured tile with the lighted mirrors. We took full advantage of our ability to take out those soffit boxes in here. That was something that was extremely important. In the beginning, we didn't know if we could even do that, and I'm really happy we were able to do that because it made for some really cool pendant lighting that we can do in here. And the entire house has 8-foot ceilings. So in this space, you get a little bit of a reprieve from that. And that was really the ultimate goal, was that reprieve from those 8-foot ceilings. The funny thing was, in the beginning, the ceilings in here were actually 7 feet. And so not only did you not get a reprieve from the 8-foot ceilings, you had to start like ducking down a little bit just to use the primary bath. So that was a big reason the home was sitting. And I always preach that if there's something about a home that you can fix on why it's sitting on the market, that is how you're going to make your money. That is how you're going to make your flip profitable. So guys, we just put this up today, and this was one of the last requirements on our list of fixes. And we got a long list of things to fix, little things on here. You're going to get an inspection report every time you go to sell your house, and buyers are going to have things that they want. You're going to have things you have to fix to get them insurance. In this case, they wanted us to fix everything. So I had a 30 something line repair list of every little thing in the world. And then on top of that, they wanted us to put one of these in here. Now you're probably wondering, why didn't I say no? Why didn't I just counter them with a lot less or something? The answer is, we got a really good offer on this house. So good of an offer that I didn't feel comfortable doing that. And I normally do. So here it is, because they kind of paid for it in a way. So I know you guys see this kitchen behind me, and there's a little bit of a story about this kitchen that I want to talk to y'all about. So this used to be a closet. You can obviously kind of see where their thought process was. We opened up some of the framing right there, and we just opened the whole space, and we made it a functional outdoor kitchen. Now, there's a lot to talk about this space, but just to kind of keep it simple, the reason we did it is because we had all the hookups in here. And I thought that was kind of funny. Why is there plumbing? Why is there drains? Why is there electrical in a storage closet? So I went back and I looked at the history of the sale history of this house, and this used to be an outdoor kitchen. I just wanted to kind of look at the history. I had seen that it had sold in 2015, and sure enough, this was an entire outdoor kitchen before whoever purchased it turned it into a storage closet. And I thought that was crazy. So in the end, we didn't make an outdoor kitchen. We just put one back where it used to be. So here it is. This was our vision from the very beginning. We set out again to just hit that top market value. And I felt like one of the things we had to do to get there was we had to make better utilization of this outdoor space. One of the reasons I kind of even focused on anything back here was I was talking to one of the neighbors, and they kind of put it in my head. They were telling me, we really wish that the prior owners had done some kind of landscaping or some kind of entertainment space because there's so much potential in their backyard. And I kind of took that to heart. We obviously didn't do too much. We put mulch down. We didn't add any plants. This is really all we did back here, but it was really all it needed. So stay tuned for the end of the episode to see how we end up doing. We have a ton of things to go over, so I'll try to be as concise as I can. Let's just talk about the numbers real quick, guys. So we needed this house to be a home run at the end, and so we got it for $650. We ended up putting in $185,000. Let's talk about closing costs now. So closing costs on this thing were $68,000. So on the buying side, we had about $15,000 in closing costs. Most of that goes to our lender. And we had about 53 or so on the selling side. That's really just paying the holding costs for the time that we had the house. That's paying the realtor of the buyer who purchased the house. And then we just have to pay all our taxes and fees associated with the sale of the home. And as it all adds up, you get a pretty big number at 68,000. And so finally, that brings us to our break-even price, and that number is 903. If you're adding all these numbers together, we realized pretty early on that this house had potential to go for just under $1 million, and it did. And so we were extremely fortunate to get the sale that we did. When we were wrapping this house up, we had two closings that were going to take place at the end of December. We listed this house mid-December, and so we had about 2 weeks where I needed a contract, and really for my own mental health, I needed to probably get past the inspection period on that contract, and that is extremely hard to do at the end of the year. So we hit the market mid-December. We're at a pretty fast capital burn rate as well, where we were maybe 30 days away from being insolvent. We got a little bit ahead of ourselves on the acquisition side, and on the selling side, we had zero inventory. So we were almost all in on all these new acquisitions, and we had nothing on the market to support it except for the capital in the bank. And that was running out very quickly. So long story short, we end up listing the house mid-December, and we get tons of great feedback, tons of showings, and we got two big offers at full asking price right away. In our particular case, we had zero room for error. So this house ended up being so important to our survival. It almost became a matter of our company surviving. We were able to bid the house up because of these competing offers to $985. We listed the house at $970, and so we ended up making a profit of $82,000, guys, on this. Let's talk about the feedback on this thing. The feedback was really, really good, but we had a weird situation where we had 22 showings in the first week, and we weren't under contract right away. So all of these showings had about, I think, 4 or 5 days in that first week. They all had an opportunity to see the house, give feedback, and present an offer. But we only got those 2 full price offers in the very beginning within the first 24 hours. And I thought that was a little bit odd. We had 22 people or families walk through the house, but only 2 actually wanted to buy it. And that had me a little stressed out because that's 20 people who walked in this house and they did not want to buy it. Some of the feedback we heard was they didn't like the low ceilings. One person didn't like how small the primary bedroom was. I think somebody actually complained about the hallway area in the back where all the bedrooms are being a little bit claustrophobic, and on and on. Now, I have my opinion on all of that feedback, but unfortunately, I can disagree with all of that feedback, and so can you guys, but it doesn't matter. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. We put so much time and effort into this house. We made so many changes at the last minute. It really kind of all came down to just being perfect. On to the next one. Oh yeah, the pond. Come back. Forgot about that. Fuck, get right. Totally forgot. I take them with me. Yeah. You really? I really do.
Mic check. One, one, two.
I bring like this angle right here, which would it would kind of get like the corner a little bit.
For real, tell me, I'm concerned.
So am I. To accommodate, I believe, the woman who passed away here, the prior owner. She didn't pass away here. Uh, they got a board right here. Let's see if we can take this out. I was trying to like not talk about the lady dying in the house, but she didn't die in the house.
I forgot, which is like the house that never ends.